Time now to catch up on the day's business news, and we're looking at the latest results from Air France. To tell us more about that, we're joined on site by our business editor, Stephen Carroll. Stephen.
Air France-KLM has been under financial pressure since 15 days of strikes last year cost the airline group some €335 million. There's also a lot of focus on these results because of the CEO, Ben Smith, who took over the job in September of last year. Now, industrial action did weigh on the company's earnings. Operating profits for the year were down by 30%, and that's mostly from the Air France side of the business. Fuel costs, meanwhile, rose by 10%, but the number of passengers being carried by Air France and KLM rose by almost 3% over the period. That's despite the strikes. Now, just ahead of these results, pilots at Air France-KLM had agreed a new pay rise with the company. They're going to get an average 4% increase that will bring to the end the series of industrial disputes at the airline group. Well, President Trump has again suggested that the March 1st deadline to find a trade deal with China could be pushed back. He'd previously threatened to more than double tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports if an agreement hadn't been reached by that date. Talks are ongoing between American and Chinese officials this week in Washington, aimed at diffusing the issues between the countries, including the US trade deficit with China and the forced transfer of technology by American companies to their Chinese partners. Donald Trump optimistic about the prospects of a breakthrough.
And the talks are going very well. Our group just came back, and now they're coming here. I can't tell you exactly about timing, but the date is not a magical date. A lot of things can happen. The real question will be, will we raise the tariffs because they automatically kick into 25% as of on $200 billion worth of goods that they send. So I know that China would like not for that to happen, so I think they're trying to move fast so that doesn't happen.
That news gave the market some optimism in Asia earlier. Let's take a look now at how things are starting the day in Europe. London, Paris and Frankfurt all opening up around 0.25%. Frankfurt DAX slightly ahead there. Shares in Air France-KLM down 1% after their latest results. Investors focusing on the future prospects for the airline group. In London, shares in the supermarket Sainsbury's down by over 12%. That's after the Competition Authority there raised doubts over its planned merger with Asda. On the Asian markets, we had gains across the board. The Nikkei closing up for the third straight day. Hong Kong up 1% a short time ago. On the currency markets, we'd seen a rally in the British pound after strong figures on wage growth and unemployment coming out of the UK. That means it's trading for 87 pence against the euro, and the euro also trading for $1.13.5. Here in France, a court will today rule on a case facing the Swiss bank UBS over accusations that it helped French clients hide billions from tax authorities. The trial began last year after 7 years of investigations. The financial prosecutor is seeking a record fine of €3.7 billion from the bank. Catherine Viette has the details.
It's judgment day for UBS. The Swiss banking giant is accused of unlawfully soliciting French clients and helping them hide their assets from the taxman. French authorities say that over an 8-year period between 2004 and 2012, more than €10 billion was tucked out of sight. The Financial Prosecutor's Office is seeking a €3.7 billion fine for the bank, the largest ever asked in France. Prosecutors also want UBS's French subsidiary to be fined €15 million, as well as penalties of €500,000 apiece for the bank's 6 top executives. In addition, lawyers for the French state are asking for €1.6 billion in damages, meaning UBS could be on the hook for as much as €5.3 billion. UBS has denied the charges, saying its operations complied with Swiss law. The bank says it did not know that some French clients had not properly declared assets in Switzerland. And UBS says prosecutors have yet to produce proof such as client names or account numbers to back up their fraud claims. The trial is the culmination of a 7-year-long investigation launched when former employees stepped forward with allegations of unlawful conduct. UBS and French authorities have been in settlement talks twice, but the proceedings fell through 2 years ago when both sides could not agree on the fine amount.
Well, finally from me, Oprah Winfrey's purse has taken a bit of a slimming down over one of her big investments. The TV mogul's stake in WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers, has lost some $560 million in value in the last 8 months. Now, Oprah is the company's second largest shareholder. She owns around 11% of the company. WW's shares hit a record in last June of over $100 a piece, but has since slumped by more than 2/3. Thus, the huge loss to Oprah's stake. Don't feel too sorry for her, though. The TV mogul's stake still worth around $170 million more than when she first bought it.
OK, fair enough. That is my sympathy pretty much gone out the window, Stephen. Stephen Carroll there with our business update. Thanks indeed.